fuck, that might look nice. Bit of plant life. Let's see how that looks. How does that look? Feels good? Feels good to me. I'm really enjoying this plant, eh? Welcome back to another Patreon video. In this week, we're in the dojo once again. We've slightly shifted and we're gonna be expanding on the training video that we made last week. So let's do a quick recap. In last week's video, we talked about why you might want to do an ultra. Then we talked about the training duration and the idea of doing a warm-up before you even get into the training. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking about some of the lessons that you're looking to extract from the training process. We'll also be touching a little bit on the physiology of ultra, but I'm going to say from the get-go that I'm in no way knowledgeable about the physiology, but what I will do is point you in the right direction of some people who are extremely knowledgeable. I don't want to faff too long and I want to get straight into it because there's a lot to cover. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the key lessons that I have learned from the training process. And I'm using the word lessons a lot. And what I'm referring to is the idea that when you engage with the training process is the teacher and you are the student. Ideally, you will go through the training process, learn these lessons that will prepare you for the event, and hopefully you learn a lot that's helpful to you outside of the event. Building off the last video, potentially you have already done a little warm-up to get your body and mind ready for the event. I'm assuming that you have set a firm intent for the training process and the event itself. But I want to take it a step further, and I would love for you to entertain this idea that I'm talking about. What inspires me is this. You want to, hear me out, you want to make yourself a suitable vessel to receive all the lessons and blessings from the training process. And I don't know if you're familiar, but it triggers me the choice of Hercules. Now, if you haven't heard of it, look into it. But it reminds me of the bit where Virtue says to Hercules, she says, if you want the favor of the gods, you must make yourself worthy of that favor. Now, I personally believe that we're all worthy of that favor, but I feel like we can create an environment within ourselves that gives us the best opportunity to receive all the lessons, blessings, and help that we can. You know, it's like bringing your bike to someone that can help you and it's completely dirty and they're just like, man, what the fuck? Like, I want to be able to help you, but I can't even get in there and do what I need to do because it's so dirty. The least you could have done is clean it up a little bit before you came to me to receive the help. Trust me, you're going to need all the help you can get. Immediately when I think about making yourself a suitable vessel, certain qualities come to mind. And humility would have to be one of the biggest ones. You have to be a student. Well, you don't have to be shit, but I'm recommending, from my experience and what's helped me tremendously, is that you be a student with an open mind. It's like that famous Zen koan when the student comes to the Zen master and he's like, I want to learn Zen, I want to learn Zen, and the master's just pouring the tea and it's overflowing and the student's like, oh my God, it's overflowing, stop, stop. And he goes, how can I teach you Zen when your cup's already full? How can you be ready to learn anything if you think you know a bunch of shit? Recognizing that you actually don't know much. And I think that's extremely fertile ground to be on. Second to humility, but not in importance, is ethics. Now, straight up, poor ethics relating to body, speech, and mind will absolutely fuck everything up. That is a straight fact. It might look like you're making progress, but the reality is it's not going to be actual real progress. This is another situation of building a house on a shit foundation, or, you know, you can't out-train a bad diet. Well, you literally can't achieve anything of any substance with poor ethics. We can really simplify it and just say this, that when you're in training, on and off the bike, you want to do your best to be a good, kind person. Kind to yourself and kind to others. So this is where we're at. You've applied for the University of Ultra and they've looked at your application. This shit's powerful. They see that you have set a firm intent. They're like, this motherfucker has a firm intent. Not only that, he has made himself a worthy vessel to receive the blessings and the lessons that the university will provide. And they're just like, fuck, he's the perfect student. You know what I mean? He's not coming here dirty and all fucked up, watching porn, doing all sorts of crazy shit, trying his absolute best to hold himself to a higher standard. And that is a student we want in our classroom. So let's get into it. Okay, the first lesson is like sitting down. The teacher is wording you up on what you will learn, but also how you're going to get the most out of the semester, aka the training process. We are going to call this first lesson the pure gold principle of transformation. And I'm going to lay it out for you right now. You are pure gold. That is your essence. No other earthly gold compares to what you are at the fundamental nature. Facts. As we engage in life, you build up impurities. Build up impurities as you engage with life. There's a lot of shit and dirt out there. You know, you accumulate it. In the training program, we take your current state, which is pure gold mixed with the impurities. We subject it to extreme heat, which is the training load. Once it's hot enough and the gold's melted, we take the impurities off the top and then we recast the gold into a new shape which has all the new qualities that we've learned. This point of extreme heat within the training process is extremely powerful, where we can make long-term changes to our brain and mind. It's like we have a boost in neural plasticity. That is the first lesson, that throughout the training process, it will be this constant process of refinement and transformation. It will be heat, so hot that it's uncomfortable, followed by the transformation process, a cooling off period to where you literally feel like you are becoming a new person. These critical mass moments are so charged with the potential for transformation that you will learn to absolutely love them. Not only that, you'll be able to experience them in 4K HD with ultra clarity and use them to your benefit. So shout out to you. I need a sip of tea because it's dense. Second lesson you want to learn, which is something I've talked about countless times. I put here, we're so fucking burdened by it that I have to keep bringing it up. Thoughts have no power over you unless you give them that power. Realistically, you are learning this the whole time you engage with the training process, but you continuously deepen it by overcoming the thoughts in real time out there in the field. So we understand where we want to get to, but how do we actually go about getting there? We understand what we need to learn, but how do we go about learning it? How do we set up the training program to teach us this lesson? Quite simply, you have to recognize that this is a learnable skill, and as it is a learnable skill, you can practice it. We're going to be taking ourselves to the point where the thoughts become extremely overwhelming, where in the past, we would have given those thoughts power and maybe pulled the pin on the session or the training block or whatever. And we're going to use that extremely charged moment, make a different decision, disempower the thoughts and keep going. And then we're going to continuously build on that under higher and higher training loads throughout the whole training program. I'm going to give you a practical example. You have a 2-hour ride schedule. You feel good in your body, you feel great, the weather's great, you know, your mum smiled at you, your girlfriend's nice to you, everything. You know, you had a great coffee, bit of Nutri-Grain for breakfast, you feel perfect. Now you're out there on the ride, it's been about 1 hour, you're still feeling good, but then suddenly, at the 1.5 hour mark, you start to feel absolutely shit. And there's no reason for you to feel absolutely shit. So suddenly you start to experience these really kind of debilitating thoughts that are consuming your focus. So you start to rationalize, maybe I should pull the pin on the session. I've only got half an hour left. It's not a big deal. Half an hour is not actually going to make that much of a difference. And I'll tell you what will make a difference is your ability to not let these thoughts have power over you. The majority of the time, your body will send you signals to quit in the form of thoughts. It wants to protect itself. So it's doing its job. So oftentimes the desire to quit comes from the body's mechanism to survive. Thumbs up, your body's working. It's not a big deal. So now, armed with your new understanding, you have this clarity. Amongst all the noise, you know that this is a powerful opportunity for you. You get to that 1.5 hour mark and you know that these thoughts have no power over you. And you know that you can keep riding despite what your mind dishes up to you. So instead of pulling the pin, You take a few deep breaths and then you decide to keep riding. You finish the final hour and you get home. Now that doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but trust me, that is the biggest deal. It's a bigger deal than you adding 40 watts to your FTP. This is literally going to be the key factor in your ability to get the most out of yourself and keep going. And you are an inch closer to having more control. This is key, major fucking key. I'm not referring to the ability for you to control your thoughts. What I'm referring to is your ability to have the thoughts but not let them control you. If you give yourself substantial time, I'm talking 6 months plus, you allow this realization to deepen to a depth where it saturates your whole being.